Awesome, great, glorious day it is. This is the day the Lord has made, and indeed we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Umubanga podcast, where we aim to inform, transform, as well as inspire. We continue voting for us on the Zamto Social Media Awards. Let's bring it home. I don't know when they will host the awards even. However, if you can see, this is a whole special environment, so make sure you get to follow the name on the wall. Yeah. Our guest today is the CEO and founder of El Dinero Money Lenders and a lawyer by profession. A young powerhouse in finance and law, she's passionate about financial empowerment, and she is redefining access to financial solutions while inspiring the next generation of leaders. With that short bio, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the CEO, the one and only Martina Kafula Mwango.
That is so extra, Umubanga.
Well.
Feels like I'm on radio.
Well, podcasts are pretty much like
yeah.
radio, yeah.
But
How are you?
Hype. I'm okay. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
You're doing so good. I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. We had to bring the podcast into your household.
Space. No, we are really grateful. And
Yeah.
You are welcome to El Dinero.
Awesome. So look, you're a special friend of the show. Shout out to Kafwa. I think when was our first time meeting? Should have been what?
2021?
2021. Somewhere there. Like when you were deep into
Makeup.
being a makeup artist, and now it's changed. Like, but anyways, first things first. Who's Martina for somebody watching this?
First of all, thank you for having me. I must say, I am truly grateful for the opportunity to be here. Who is Martina? It really depends on who's asking, if I'm being honest. If you go to the internet, you go to TikTok and search Martina, the first thing that will pop up is Martina wigs. So it depends on the environment or the space in which you're asking. But just to give a short bio of myself again, my names are Martina Kafula Mwango. I am a lawyer by profession, but I am an entrepreneur at heart. I started El Dinero Money Lenders in 2021, and we have been growing up together.
Yeah.
And I am the firstborn child. I come from a family of 3. I have 2 amazing siblings, a younger sister and a younger brother, and with my very present parents. Yeah.
Awesome. Present dads
and present moms.
Yeah, awesome. But speaking on family, like walk us through your upbringing, like what were like from your recollection, like growing up in your household, like how was it? Like,
first of all, I feel like a lot of people
being the firstborn.
Yes, a lot of people think I'm from Lusaka. I'm very much a Kawe girl.
Oh.
I was born and raised in Kawe, Central Province, our little ghost town, as people call
Sunda
it.
Station.
Yeah. Don't go there. So I was born and raised in Kawe. I attended primary. I went to Jacaranda Trust School in Kawe, and then I went to Mpunde Girls, that's a boarding school in grade 8. And then now I went to Ndola Girls National Technical School in grade 10. So growing up, my upbringing, it was me, my mom, my dad, my siblings, and cousins. You know, I'd like to think that I had a great childhood growing up, because, you know, the presence of 2 very present parents, it's always just a huge blessing. And what did you say? What grounded my upbringing?
Yes.
I think just seeing how devoted both my parents were to being our parents and as well as to their work, it shaped me a whole lot. So I think for the most part, it's just surrounded at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of because there's something which I've learned over time is that there are things which are taught and there are some things which are caught. So if you are found with certain people for a long time, like you rub on certain things, but in terms of the value system, because we want to understand who's this person, like being successful and growing at such a young age. Like others would just be like engraved in books and just hiding in school. Anyways, but what were some of the values which were instilled in you, like from your parents?
One of the greatest one is discipline and compassion. Growing up, my mom and my dad are very they're alike, but they're very different. So they are two very focused individuals, and it's very easy to pick up on their trends. When you're living with parents who are doing a 9 to 5 as well as doing a business and ensuring that it's growing, it's very easy to catch on certain things. So for the most part, discipline. My parents always taught us how to be disciplined, well disciplined in homes, at school, and just having compassion. I think just knowing that and seeing, I remember very well growing up, my parents would accommodate just anyone in our home, regardless of their status or where they're from. So I think I also took on having a very compassionate heart towards everyone, regardless of the status, your status in life or where you're at. So I think those are some of the things that have shaped.
So apart from your parents, were there like some other role models, like people who like, you had those uncles, you have those uncles who when they show up, you're just like, or aunties, you're just like,
like I want to be, of course. One of my greatest role models, shout out to him, my mom's older brother, Mr. Emmanuel Makungu. He owns Club Ebony in Quito. If you've ever heard of Club Ebony in Quito, it's one of the biggest clubs in Quito. I have learned a lot from him indirectly because this man didn't really have an educational background, but he's built so much using just his entrepreneurship skills. So that's one of my greatest inspirations till date. Well, aside from both my parents, it's him. I look up to him a lot. And just the many people in my family. I come from a family of hardworking people, be it from their careers. My mom's side of the family, they are mostly career oriented. Even my mom herself, she's a go-getter. She's a powerhouse. I'm truly inspired by her because she's very dedicated to everything she does. So it's a mix of coming from, on this end, my mom's side, it's career oriented, and then my dad's side, career and they're hustlers. So I think it's the effort of a village put together.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Takes a village to raise a child. Awesome stuff. Now, circling back in your educational journey, you went to different schools, and from your bio we heard that you're a lawyer and all. Like, what prompted you to go into that space? Was it like from the get-go, like you're just like, hey, I want to be a lawyer, or circumstance happened and then you found yourself in law?
Well, I don't like throwing my dad under the bus with this issue, but I must call him out. Well, I think when I was about to, when I finished school, my dad is the type, you finish school, immediately you go to uni. So when I finished school, he asked me, what do you want to do? And I was blank. I didn't know. You're still a kid. You still don't know what you want to do. You have zero idea. So I remember that was in December. He asked me, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. He said, okay, I'm giving you 1 month. Think about it. January, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. So he said, are you serious? Time is moving. You have to go to school. I was like, okay. I had no idea. Trust me, I wasn't even going to have any idea in the next 3 months, even if he had asked me. And then I think he gave me 3 options. And then
what were the 3?
I think he gave me like purchasing and supply, which he knew I wouldn't take. And then he also gave me medicine, which he knew that I wouldn't take. And then he gave me law. He was very strategic, I must say. He's a very strategic man. So he knew to give me options that I wouldn't pick 2 from, but the one was like more flexible. I think he wanted to be a lawyer himself. So he was living out his dream
through you. You being the firstborn,
So I had no option. I was like, okay, I'll do law. And then he's like, okay, great. You're going to school next month. And the next month, I went to uni last. So
that was quick.
Yeah, he's very strategic.
So even so, anyways, enlighten me. So were you still in Kabwe or you?
Yeah, I was in Kawe with him.
Okay. So your parents are still in Kabwe.
My dad is.
Okay.
My mom is now in Livingston because
Okay.
she works in Livingston.
Okay.
Yes. I was still in Kawe at the time. I just finished uni and I was just home. So I think it's like he wanted me out. He's like, you gotta go. Yeah. So, well, when he picked law for me, I didn't think it was a very bad idea. I bought into the dream. And I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. I mean,
The wig
gave me
looks
this
nice.
story. Yeah, he gave me this story. It's like, you can be, these days, he's a smart man, so he knows how to go about his words.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, yeah, let me take it. And I started school.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Interesting journey.
yeah.
So when you do the law, like most people downplay education,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So, like, say for example, your uncle who is successful in his entrepreneurial journey, like others will be like, no, like they'll feel away at school, like
anything
the
can
streets
happen.
will teach you.
Yeah.
But having gone through the process of you going through the educational line of things, like how has that been and how has that shaped your now entrepreneurship journey? Yeah.
I don't think I'm one person to ever discourage anyone going to school because one thing about me, if I didn't go to uni last, if I didn't study law, I would have never become an entrepreneur. I don't know where life would have put me.
Yeah.
But if, those things where if not for this, then this couldn't have happened.
Yeah.
For me, I think that's my situation. However, back to your question, I do very much believe that everyone should be in school if you have an opportunity.
Yeah.
But if you don't have an opportunity, you have to work with what's on the table. And it's totally fine if you can't afford it maybe, or you don't see yourself going to school and you know that you can do other things. It's okay. I mean, life has no handbook.
Yep.
So there's people who are excelling in just doing business very, very, very well. And we've seen it happen. I've seen it happen firsthand. And then there's people who are doing both and people who are highly reliant on school and they're still excelling. So I think, life has no handbook. So whatever works best for you, I just think that you should know yourself better, know your strengths, and then you can follow through. But does everyone need school? Of course, here and there you need school. Unless you can finish grade 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And actually just having different people talk to you, that's school in itself. It's like the way oral tradition was passed on, like certain skills were passed on. So even, education, it comes in different ways.
Yes.
But the formal way makes you be able to count money better.
A lot of older people say, in case life happens, you have somewhere to fall back on.
Yeah.
So I think it's now society has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Before, I think it was school. If you don't have a paper, you're not making it.
Yeah.
But now we've seen people who are, let me give an example, content creators.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to uni to be a content creator. But content creators now are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think it's just adjusting with how society is going and understanding where you fit best. I think that's what should help a lot of people establish really where they should fall back on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, circling back again, when I was saying the first time we met, you were a makeup artist. You're a makeup, I think you were still in uni.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that time you're still in uni. But like, walk us through like your business journeys, like finding yourself and exploring and making mistakes and still finding your feet, still finding your way back up.
Okay. So how my entrepreneurship journey started just didn't start. It was an accident, by the way. I like to say, believe it was an accident.
Yeah.
I just didn't, how there's those people who get ideas like, one day I want to be a business owner.
Yeah.
It was nothing like that for me. So when I started uni, I used to live with this very beautiful girl called Tenjiwe. She was my first roommate. We were at the boarding house together. And she used to do makeup. She used to be a makeup artist. Very good. She was very good at what she used to do. And sometimes I'd be bored and she's like, let's go escort me, to go do her clients, and I would escort her. I mean, that was her form of also making like just some extra pocket money. Yeah. But she was so good at it. And eventually, you know how you pick, not habits, but you pick people's interests.
Yep.
Yeah. Short, maybe would go to the shops, would find like a concealer. She's like, just buy. If you knew you can use it, you know what I mean? And I would get. And then eventually I started like trying to do my own eyebrows. Then I bought into the idea and I started doing people's makeup from there by accident.
Yeah.
And she was very encouraging and very inspiring, because you know how it is when someone is trying to starting the same business or starting to do the same exact thing you're doing. These days we have that car, like, I'm not gonna share, or I
Yeah.
don't want to. That girl has such a beautiful heart. I always tell people like she has a very great heart, because she literally said, you can do it. Like, you know what I mean? Even when I didn't think that it was going to work for me. So yeah, from then I started getting my own clients. I started pushing. I would do my friends' makeup at school before we maybe like were heading out. I would do their eyebrows. I started getting my own to my clients. I opened a page on Facebook. I started advertising. Yeah, and that's how I think I started. I became a makeup artist, and a lot of people who knew me before me now know me as the makeup artist.
So do you still do?
No, I'll get there. So yeah, then eventually I always like to say there's no business that I haven't done. The only business I haven't done is opening a police station or selling marriages.
Or being a drug dealer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I did so many things in that phase. I think second year to third year, I would go to Kamwala. I would buy like clothes from Kamwala. I would advertise on my status to my hoodies, shoes, even phones, cables. I had a friend who used to live in China, so he would be like, "Say this, just advertise, we sell. I'll send them." You go, like, I've done so many things, and when I look back at my Facebook memories, Facebook will always bring memories. I'm just like, oh, okay, I've done a lot of things. Yeah, and then I think towards the end of me being in uni, I think third year. My mom used to send me money, like pocket money. Then there's this time she started sending me more like double of what she would send me before. So I think started sending me like 2,000. And then 2,000 was a lot of money. That was like what, 4 or 5 years ago. So in the quest to save the money, I used to give it to friends. Like I give 300 kwacha. Like here is a cologne, you put back a 50 kwacha on top. And I think that's how it also became a business accidentally.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to save money, but apparently it became a thing. Yeah. So as I was finishing uni, I was a little much into it, but not so much because I was doing it casually at the time. And then I went to Ziali, and then I think when I was at Ziali is when I was like, okay, this can actually work out for me.
Yep.
And yeah, and I started living with a friend, my housemate. She used to also do it because she was at Unza. I was at Unilas. She had a bit more money than I did. So when I don't have money, I would get money from her, give clients. If someone wants, I used to mark up the interest by like 5% because hers were like 10, 10, 10. So I used to mark up by every 5%.
Yep.
And then when a client pays back, I give her her cut, and then I get my own. Yeah. So it just became a habit that I grew to love. And eventually I said, you know what? I proved myself to the people around me that this can actually work out just fine, because I was building a community unknowingly from the people in my circle, from my contacts. I would post loans available, they would get loans. And that's how come I had a clientele. So my clientele just started from my contact list. Started from 5 people, 10 people, and now we're hitting like 100 to 200.
And I bet majority of them were your schoolmates who've now grown, owning different businesses, working in different spaces now.
So that's just about it.
Okay. Yeah. So now venturing into, walk us through starting El Dinero. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly.
It's El Dinero.
Yeah.
But in Spanish, you pronounce it El Dinero.
Okay.
Yes.
El Dinero. What does it mean?
It means money in Spanish.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So how El Dinero started, when I was at Ziali, here's the thing, right? I haven't been fully in love with law throughout my journey. So even when I was at Ziali, I was dragging myself there because, you know, where you kind of know that this is not where I'm supposed to be. However, I have to do it because I have to do it.
Yep.
It was at that time that I think I'd like to say God spoke to me and said, you know what, take this thing seriously. And yeah, I just capitalized on it. I remember very well when I started doing makeup in uni, my dad wasn't fully in support of it. He was like, you have to focus on school. A parent being a parent, which
Yeah.
is very understandable. And I used to do it, but I shouldn't have been doing it. You know what I mean? And then when it came to loans, I think I used to tell him about it, like, oh, I give out loans, you're explaining to him. And my dad is like an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
Aside from his 9 to 5, he's also like a very big entrepreneur. So I think the point at which I had proven to him that this is working, I used to like explain, like show him, I had zero capital, by the way, like I had no capital. And then eventually, when I think after exams, this one day, my dad just calls me and said, hi, I've sent you money. You can continue with your business. And that's how I think I got my first solid capital.
Yeah.
And then I think that support really inspired me, because I was like, okay, my parents are seeing greatness in what I'm doing now. My mom would also like give me her money, like, here, grow, give clients. I would give it back to her, So I was truly inspired by them seeing the greatness in what I was doing without me having to like force myself and drag myself throughout Ziali, because I knew that wasn't where I was supposed to be. And I think with the support of my housemate, my friend, and my boyfriend, your friend, he's so supportive. He came up with the name, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm trying to look for names, like, okay, I need to register now. You know how it is when you're starting a business.
Yeah.
Registration of a business is so expensive, especially for money lenders. We spend like 13,000 now every year just for the license.
So that's Bank of Zambia, your
Ministry of Finance. We have to pay subscription every year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I first started by opening a company at Pakra.
Sole proprietor.
Company.
Limited company.
Limited company. So he helped me brainstorm a name. He came up with a name. Then we registered it. It went through. Yeah. And the rest is history. I mean, we've been pushing one day at a time.
Awesome. Now, we'll circle back into... but walk me through, like, yes, you're a law student, you understand the law, you've pretty much gone through books, knowing how this thing runs. But how did you work around the fear? Because now you're going to be dealing with bigger monies, with more institutions. Some of them are not faithful. And now you're as well not going to be running this business alone. You're now bringing in people. Like, how did you handle that? Or how are you handling that?
If I'm being honest, it's how can I put it? When you're starting something new, right? Okay, I went from doing everything by myself, right? Like recording in my phone, it was just a one-man army. Not until I got like a motivation from Kafwa. He said, you know what, we need to like expand, open, like take it seriously. And then I realized, like, okay, this is actually something serious, and I shouldn't actually take it as just like a business. You know how a lot of us are just, it's just like a business.
It's just like a side hustle.
So it's been a lot. If I'm being honest, I like to be as authentic as possible. It's been a lot because I've gone from just handling 500 kwachas, 200 kwachas, and the growth has been extremely like large, right? And I feel like the most important thing, if you're doing a money business, is discipline. A lot of us don't have discipline. Even I don't have a lot of discipline. Like today I can get a payment and I can go buy a nice wig and I'll be like, yes, you know what I mean? But as I said, you need a lot of discipline. And I think I've still been working around trying to build a structure in our work of place, working with my colleagues, having an accountant, being accountable to my accountant, being accountable to my manager.
How does it feel?
It's
my company, it's my money. Like, why are you restricting me from?
It's very challenging. But at the end of the day, I need to realize that for this to work, I'm not only doing it for myself. I have colleagues, I have employees that I need to pay, I have siblings that I need to at least support in one way or another, and I have a life ahead of me.
So do you pay yourself?
Currently, no.
Okay.
But I should be. But I told my accountant to say, right now I don't need the money.
Okay.
Just yet. Yes.
Okay.
But I should be, because I have a contract, I have a salary, I just don't receive it. I just
It's reinvested back.
yes.
Hopefully you're charging the business interest.
Yeah, it's very difficult to put a separation, because this is my baby.
Yeah.
So if I'm being honest, it's very difficult, and me not paying myself is just me feeling castle to get money from my business.
Sometimes it's always nice to just see the bank balance, and then you're just like, hey.
Exactly. So there's been a lot of challenges, especially in settling up a system that's going to work best for us, especially that I'm coming from a place of doing this alone and now coming to a place where I need to have a structure in place, because for us to function, we need a smooth run of things in the organization. So we are still finding our feet, still trying to see what works best, how, like, it's not been easy, but I mean, I'm a very resilient person, so I know that eventually we are going to have our ground, and yeah.
Okay. You run a money lending business, and you have a lot of people who come and get money. Do you, I know it's a business, but do you guys like get to talk to people and say, boss, like, this borrowing streak you're going into, like, will kill you? Like, what? Because I'm thinking through, like, there's a lot of pressure, like, people are looking for money, like, payments are not coming through as fast as they should. And there's that pressure where, like, people are borrowing for consumption. Like, do you sometimes, like, get to talk to your clients and be like, chill? Yes,
of course. And that's why I think I was joking with my partner the other day. I was saying I'm people's therapist now, because as someone in the money business, you hear all kinds of stories, and at the end of the day, you still have to be compassionate to people. So first things first, I uphold principles of being honest. If I was a dishonest person and if I was running a dishonest business, I would just want to take. Like, I don't care if you have another loan, just get another loan. But I think one of the core values that helped me even maintain good relationships with clients and maintain stable relationship with the company finances is having a healthy relationship with my clients. If I notice that a client is getting too many loans, I say, bruh, is everything okay? If I notice that someone is getting back to back, I do get concerned and ask, like, where are you taking the money? And I know a lot of them don't like it, because they're just like, Martina, even you, why are you asking? You know, it's none of your business. And it truly is none of my business. But as someone who's a financer, it's of concern to me if I'm seeing that as a person, especially an entrepreneur, if you are living on loans back to back to back, then there's something wrong. It's very different from an entrepreneur who has a business loan, because I mean, the loan is working strictly for you, it's making money for you. But it's worrying where today you come and then you fail to pay, and then again next time. I ban people from getting loans if they start giving problems. If I see that there's the consistency is too much, I always ask, like, if things are not okay, you shouldn't be getting a loan. If you don't have a plan for it, you shouldn't be getting a loan, because that's how we find that people get into bad debts, because it's very easy. If I make myself available to you once, I know you know in your head that you can always call me. It gets addictive. And I always joke, like, once you get a loan from me once, you're done. You're with me for life. So with that, knowing very well that it can get addictive, I like to care for my clients finances. I also very much pray for my clients. Like, this is one thing. Every Sunday when I'm at church, I'm speaking to God, like, before you bless me, I need you to bless my clients. If there's anywhere where they are struggling, I need you to bless them, because if they are blessed, I'm blessed. If there's something wrong with them, then it will extend to us.
I'm reminded, like, a coffin maker prays for people to die. And then a loan person prays for people to be in need.
To be broke.
Or to have a delayed payment.
Well, sometimes I'm like, business is slow. But why aren't people getting money, God? But he always comes through. He's so faithful. There'll be days when we won't have clients. 1, 2, 3 days, there'll be no clients. Then maybe the 4th or 5th day we'll get like a very big client. So he'll always compensate. You get what I mean? He always comes through. He always compensates. So I'm very faithful. I'm very grateful, even for the days when we don't have business.
Yeah.
I'm grateful because sometimes you don't have business because genuinely God is trying to protect you from certain things
Yeah.
from happening. Yeah. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. What has been like one of your worst experience, and how did you manage to like resolve it?
One of my worst experiences was when I just started, when I was in uni, in fourth year. I remember I was doing my dissertation. And then, that's why I say I'm very grateful for my parents. I have the most supportive parents. So just a little bit of a vision, my mom had already bought into the dream of, oh, okay, in my fourth year, even before my dad knew much about it.
Yeah.
And then I had a client, this very consistent client who always used to get money and always used to pay back. And this one time, the client wanted like a 20,000 kwacha, and I got so excited. So excited. And I told my mom,
at what percent?
Mom, I don't even remember. Because that was 5 years ago. I told her, like, Mom, this client wants, and I didn't have any money at the time. Bear in mind, I used to get money from my friend, and I don't think she had as much. So my mom gave me the money, and this client defaulted. Like, up to now, they have never finished paying their loan. So I think for me, it was very challenging because I didn't have to refund my mother. Not that she pindered me, but then if I'm being supported to that extent by people who are around me, I mean, it's always best that I do good for them.
Yeah.
So that experience alone traumatized me very much because I was too excited. I didn't have money to give back my mom, and I think she needed the money as well back.
Yeah.
And I trusted this client with my all, but then it failed. So I think that's one of the biggest lessons and biggest L's I've ever taken. Like, just, I had nothing, and then I was, you know what I mean? Like, I was stripped of everything, even when I had nothing. I know that's a bit dramatic.
From zero to, from hero to zero.
Exactly.
Like.
So I think that incident still touches me. And I mean, I learned a lot of lessons from there. You can't just trust anyone just for just. You have to be very, very careful and just do your due diligence all the time.
Yeah.
Which is something I didn't do at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know your business now has evolved to dealing with different corporate government organizations as well. How have you dealt with that, understanding that when you show up in the room, you're not the biggest person? What I mean is that, like, we're still in a space and time where, like, people will judge you based off how you look.
Yeah.
Like, nikamfana che, like,
and especially being a woman.
Yeah. Like, how have you navigated that?
To begin with, as a woman in finance, it's very challenging because you know how society has been from before. Men are the ones in the lead with handling finances. Men are the ones who are the financial gurus or whatever.
The pillars.
Yeah. So just, I mean, people understanding that you're in this space and you're doing what you're doing is very challenging for them.
Yeah.
And some men get threatened by my capabilities. And some people have even passed comments and say, Isha, yeah, you look so young. Aren't you 17? You know what I mean? Like things like that. But one thing about me, I have a very strong mind. And I know what I bring to the table. I know what I carry. I know my grace. I know what I am meant for. I know what I am called for. So I think I'm very confident. On some days, well, I'm not. But if you meet me outside, you just think this girl, she's so small. She's so, someone said just, you're very daring. Yeah. So this one time I walked into a room and someone said, Ish, you walked into the room, you didn't say anything, but your presence was just very like, I'm here. So I move with the grace of God. So whether I am being denied access in certain places, it won't happen because the grace of God speaks for me, even when in moments when I am about to be looked down upon. So I think for me, it's just, you need to be confident. Confidence. Yeah. So
confidence,
it really helps, actually. Yeah. It really helps, especially Umubanga. It really helps, especially for someone who's a small girl like me. You walk into a room and people are like, kamfana, chia. And I'm like, bro, I am like literally in my late 20s. I'm not 18. But as I said, you have to know your work. Yeah. You have to know your work. You know what you're bringing to the table. And I think things will just work out for you. Yeah.
Speaking on partnership, right? How did you find a correct partner? Because starting a business and finding partnerships, like any miscommunication, you might be threatened to say, "Hey, I'm pulling out."
Out.
Like
Well, I don't have like a partner like
yeah,
50-50 in the business.
Yeah.
No. It's all me.
okay,
But I like to call the people who are supporting the company as partners. My mom, my dad, my boyfriend, and my housemate. Those guys are obviously not direct partners, but they are
Yeah.
my partners. For a lot of decision making, I run to them like, "Oh, guys,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?"
so they're
How are
like
we
your board.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, they're my board, but it's a one-man army.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not really like today I can make a decision to shut down and it will shut down. Yeah, but this kind of arrangement is a bit difficult because I know that I only have myself. If I make a decision, I know that, oh, I'm going with that decision.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's very important to have partners. And that's why I highly involve people like Kafwa,
Yeah.
my housemate, my dad, and my mom. Because if things are not working, because, for me, I'm not even an accountant. I've never done accounts before. So my parents are accountants. My dad is an accountant by profession. My mom is an accountant by profession as well. So when things are not working out, I always like, guys, how do we navigate this?
Yeah.
And even just the daily decisions of the company, I always involve Kafwa. He's a very big pillar here. So yeah, I think it's just nice to have people who are supporting you.
You know the song which just came in my head? It was like, "You are the pillar that holds my life." Or the song says, "Master Jesus."
Yeah, so yeah.
Awesome. Look, your industry or your space is sensitive. It's high pressure. It's like anything can happen. What do you do like on a daily to keep yourself sane or sober? Like,
What do I do to keep me sane? I listen to a lot of music. I think it keeps me sane. And I self-distract a lot of times. And if I know that today is going to be a bad day, I just don't come. I work from home. Yeah, so I think I feel like it's just the small habits that make you feel better as a person.
Yeah.
Because if you're not feeling like, showing up, then there's something wrong. So you have to find a midway to make yourself feel better. So
Yeah.
I think for me, just the little habits like convincing myself like, okay, yeah, this, it's hard. It gets very hard. But as it gets hard, I think it gets easier with time.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that we're doing this for the first time. I'm doing this for the first time.
Yeah.
This is my first trial. So I give myself a lot of grace. Yeah.
And the grace of God is sufficient.
Yeah.
The exceeding
One time.
rich grace of God is sufficient. Even as we come to a close, 3 books and 3 scriptures which you hold on to. And I'm putting you on the spot. But yeah.
You should have. Okay.
You'd have just said Jesus
Scriptures?
wept. Like
Yeah.
John 11 verse 35. He wept because people needed money.
Philippians 4 verse
13.
13. I can
Through
do all things
through Christ Jesus who gives me strength.
I can't
Yeah.
say 3. That one is my one.
Yeah.
That one is my one. Because on days when I can't do it, I just
That makes the
remember,
two of us.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
my
that's like my
my pillar.
yeah.
Books. That book by Jane Mazimba. What is it? I don't remember the title, but I have very much read it.
Let's see.
I have very much read it.
Jane Mazimba, author.
Yeah. There's that book by Jane Mazimba that was gifted to me by my man.
Kafa be doing the most here, like getting shout outs left, right, and center.
Let me see.
I'm trying to look for Fire.
Yes,
Yes.
Catching Fire.
Yes, Catching
That's
Fire.
a
Yes.
great book.
Yeah.
I want to draw back to a Zambian author because I just feel like books from
They
It's-
speak a certain language
yes,
which
you can't really relate.
Yeah.
But Catching Fire is I think it's been very life changing for me.
Mhm.
Number 2, Making Your First 100,000 by Edwin Gwani. I'll never forget that book because I read it when I was in uni, just when I had 0 coin to my name.
Mhm.
And I think it inspired me and shaped my thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one may think that making your first 100,000 is a stretch, but it's
Yeah.
really
No.
not. Speaking from experience, it's really not. Even the book, he will show you like how he made his first 100,000. Just doing a t-shirt business,
Yes.
printing. Yeah. And also, what's that book? I don't remember the title. Okay, I think those two for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great authors. Shout out to Jane.
Yeah.
I'll send her this.
I love her so
Yeah,
much. Yeah.
yeah,
And she's
yeah.
a financial lit, so
Yeah.
I'm very inspired by her. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome stuff. Look, this has been a great conversation. Yeah, I think this has been like to length because every time I see you, you are with your man. So
Every time you never see me alone.
well, the last time I came through here was to check out the place so that we can
Yeah.
record from here. But yeah, so awesome stuff. Like, what are some of the things which you're looking forward to, like in the future, like the next 5 years? Like, yeah,
I think for the most part, I'm praying to God for growth.
Mhm.
I need the company to grow because not only for me, but
Yeah.
because I want to bless others the same way God has blessed me.
Yeah.
So one of my biggest vision is owning the biggest microfilms in Zambia. Like I know that the world will hear about El Dinero, not only in Zambia,
Yeah.
but it has to go international. Yeah. And just being a huge inspiration for people my age and the younger girls who think it's impossible to.
How old are you?
How old do you think I am? Take a guess.
26, 25?
Okay, accurate. 25, 26. Ish, 26. Ish, I'm a big girl. I'm chasing my 30s.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
26.
Mhm.
I'm turning 27
Okay.
in August.
Yeah.
After next month. Yeah. So I think just being an inspiration for so many girls out there, and especially girls who think it's finance is just for men.
Yeah.
I mean, the world is big enough for all of us to excel. So
True.
yeah, I think those ones. And just the world knowing about El Dinero.
Yeah.
I think that's what's more important to me. Even before anyone knows
Yeah.
about me, I want everyone to know about El Dinero, and just offering the help that we can as a business and support, especially to women.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not easy for you as a woman to walk into a bank and immediately
Get along.
I mean, the world favors a man, so
I beg to differ.
really.
Do you know why? Like, look at the many empowerment initiatives which are there
It's
right
just
now.
now. It's
But
just
like
now that-
times have changed.
Yes, and that's my point. It's just now that times have changed and we have things like women banking.
Yeah.
And but realistically speaking, if you and I went for a job interview, okay, not now, but a few years ago, and even if I was good enough for the job, a finance job, they will pick you as a man.
But coming back to what you said, just the confidence, have the
Of course, confidence.
no.
So,
And look, right now, yes, times have changed and women are leveling up.
Yeah,
they're,
and
they're
leading.
being
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
They are well equipped now. So yeah, I think now the playing field right now
yeah.
is more on the women's side because look
Well, we love it for us.
at us.
Honestly.
Even look, actually, even just in this recording, I'm the only gentleman in this place. So
No, we love it for us. We're taking over. We're dominating.
yeah, so dominate and
Yeah.
and I always tell people, say, you'll be like, no, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman. I'm just like, boss, the Proverbs 31 woman actually works.
Yeah.
She actually
She
works.
and supports her partner.
It actually says that she's the one who takes care of the whole household. Like
Yes,
the
yes.
household
I think
doesn't
people
lack.
misunderstand that verse
Yeah.
very much. They think Proverbs 31 is
It's
just a
chill.
soft girl,
So,
like,
soft
you know,
girl era, but
exactly.
can't
But
it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, in the front line at the war. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome stuff, awesome conversation. Like I've enjoyed it. So, what services do you offer here?
So we offer loans to GRZ, everyone who works in the government. We are just signing on an MOU with the Army. So if you work in the Army, you're welcome. And personal loans, if you are just an individual and you want a loan. Business loans, business owners, I am here to support you. We are here to support you.
Yeah.
If you can't access, well, I'm not trying to discredit the bank, but if you can't access money easily from a bank, please do reach out to us. Yeah, I think that's about it. And also we are trying to get into just educating people on more financial literacy. So having a lot of these conversations, starting just a small series from within here on financial literacy, because the reason I believe very much that the reason a lot of people in this world are not successful is not because they don't have access to money, but because they don't know how to manage and handle finances. So these are conversations worth having. And my marketing lady at El Dinero, she came up with a concept that we should start having conversations surrounding money, how people should manage their money. And just everything about money, just to help other people grow, because we are not only trying to grow as a company and benefit ourselves, we are trying to drag the world with us.
Okay. What was the theme for this year's Financial Literacy Week? Let's see. Is it manage your money, plan your future? Let's see. Where's financial literacy? You see, sometimes. Yes. What was that?
Money, plan your future.
I'm waiting for the network to come. What was the theme? No, it was think before you follow, safeguard your money.
Think before you follow?
Yes, safeguard your money. I think this one, manage your money, plan your future was last year's. So, I think it's really important for you businesses to, it's like offering, yes, you want to make the profit, but then you make the profit like in a good way so that you do not damage families, because issues of debt like injure families, like others commit suicide and so awesome stuff. So
thank you so
this
much.
has been a great conversation, and thank you for having us here, and looking forward to more conversations.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to being here in the next 3 years or something.
3 years, got that in focus.
2 years.
You said that you have the exceeding grace of God.
Amen.
So we even in the next 6 months, we can bring you back.
Great. I'm ready. Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, from me, Dennis Umubangamemed and Martina, we say bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome.